Hello, it's John Heaton, and today I'm going to take a break from my Beatles B-sides videos and do a short tribute to Ginger Baker, who sadly died last Sunday, aged 80. So, as most of you know, he was the drummer from Cream, and I've got quite a few Cream records. This is my collection, Disraeli Gears. This is quite a rare edition on the Reaction label. It says mint condition, but it's not mint by any condition, by any standards. But I remember my mum gave me this record, and it's quite rare that she went and sought out a rarity for me, so I was grateful for that. Wheels of Fire, I've only got the single studio album. It came in the double with a live album as well. So this has the Ginger track, Pressed Rat and Warthog, which she performed at the Albert Hall when they did the reunion concert. I remember. And then Goodbye was their last album. This has a great version of live version of Politician. It's got the single badge, of course, on it. Best of Cream, great picture on the back. Love that picture. Ginger in the middle there, and this is a great compilation, although as you probably know if you watch my channel, I don't much like compilations. This one is chock-a-block full of classics, from Strange Brew to Sunshine of Your Love to Born Under a Bad Sign. Badge, white trim, brilliant. I'm not going to show you the front cover of this Blind Faith album because I think it's a bit distasteful, but this is the gatefold. So Blind Faith was an album called Blind Faith because they thought people would just rush out and buy the record because of the star-studded lineup of the band. Rick Gretsch on bass, Ginger Baker on drums, Eric Clapton on guitar, Steve Winwood on vocals and keyboards and guitar. And they did one concert in the summer of '69 in Hyde Park. One album, which had some great tracks on it. Had to Cry Today, Can't Find My Way Home, Sea of Joy, Presence of the Lord. And then they went their separate ways, so short-lived. And then Ginger formed a band called Ginger Baker's Air Force, which also featured Denny Laine, who was later in Wings. And then talking of Wings, when Wings went to Lagos to record their Band on the Run album, and they found the EMI studios not up to scratch when they first arrived, Ginger offered the services of his Lagos studio and offered for them to record the whole album there. They only ended up recording one track there, Picasso's Last Words, with Ginger playing a sack of gravel on that, I was reading. So that's an interesting bit of information there. And I'm glad to say that in 1992 I went up to, it was advertised that Ginger was doing a concert in the Jazz Cafe in Camden, and I went up there with a couple of friends and seemed to remember it was a Sunday lunch, but I could be wrong. It was a long time ago after all. But I met him, and the only thing I had to hand for him to get his autograph was my Beatles Monthly, which is dated January 1992, so I'm guessing the concert was around there. Well, I can't remember. And I got him to sign the inside picture here of Paul McCartney there. And I said, so you were on, Paul was on, recorded part of the Band on the Run album at your studio. And Ginger said, yeah, never got paid for it, mind. So that was quite amusing, and it was a good gig, and we met him. It was a very informal setup in the pub. You could just go up to him after the gig and chat away to him. And then, seeing as we're mentioning meetings, Cream related, I had the good fortune to meet Jack Bruce he was doing some weird kind of poet stroke musical thing, bizarre. He was playing bass and singing, and someone was doing spoken poetry, and it was in a pub in Fulham, and there was only about 20 people in the audience. And afterwards I took this album backstage and I asked if I could meet Jack, and they seemed very pleased that there was a fan who wanted to meet him. So I was ushered into the back room. And I handed him this album, said, could you sign it? Best wishes, John, Jack Bruce. And when I handed him this album to sign, I said, Consulate Sunset, that's my favourite. And he said, yep, that's a good one. So that was I'm glad I got to meet Ginger and Eric, who have both passed away. Also met Rick Gretsch, who's also passed away. No, I haven't met Eric Clapton, but he's still with us, so I still got time to meet him, I guess. And Dylan is the only real person I really need to meet, although the chances of that happening are fading pretty drastically with every year. So Ginger Baker, great inventive drummer, ahead of his time in many ways, kind of jazzy in feel, but all over the place. Not very conventional. Ringo, I think, called him a crazy drummer in a good way. And you listen to those Cream tracks, and it's just three of them making that sound. You know, Jack on bass, Eric on guitar, and Ginger on drums. And they laid the groundwork for a lot of stuff which was to come later in the heavy rock or heavy metal genre. They were the first, really, in that genre. And a lot of kudos to that band. They were very well respected among their peers and among the critics. I don't think they sold in their millions, the albums, but everyone had immense respect for their music, and as I say, pretty groundbreaking stuff. So Ginger Baker, rest in peace. Thank you for watching. See you next time.